And now for some analysis in reaction to the Volksrust drug lab bust, we now speak to security strategist Andy Mashaile. Andy, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time. Really do appreciate it. Methamphetamine is a drug that is relatively cheap on the street, but not to the extent that the ordinary South African can truly afford in large volumes. That says to me that a drug lab of that size did not just seemingly produce for the domestic market. Do you anticipate that that could potentially have been for export purposes, given the value of the drug bust? I mean, 350 million rand in laboratory equipment is quite expensive. Would you anticipate it to have been for export?
Yes, Oliver, good afternoon to you and your viewers. It would have been for export and for consumption here locally. Let me take you back to 2022, 2023 global initiative against transnational organized crime. 350,000 people in the time space of 12 months were sniffing cocaine. So the drug manufacturers or the illicit drug industry knows that South Africa is a good spot for them to manufacture, to distribute, and for consumption, and also for export purposes.
Now, if it is for export purposes, would that explain the collaborative effort here that we've seen between Mexican nationals, local South Africans, and Nigerian nationals in this drug laboratory?
You have a three-pronged approach from the illicit drug manufacturers. From the South Americas, I'm talking about the Mexicos, the Brazils, you go to the Asian part of the world, and you also come from North America, West Africa, linkages, transnational organized crime, dealing with drug trafficking, human trafficking, and financial fraud. So you see, we are being attacked from left, right, and center. And this specifically speaks to the question that you are asking, that seeks to help us understand the nature and the impact of drug distribution, impunity that the drug manufacturers industry, illicit drug manufacturers industry, see South Africa to be cushioning them against tough foreign national laws and the brutality of police in those specific areas.
Let's talk a bit about the intelligence that it took to be able to discover this bust. The MEC didn't want to specify how it was done, but the early signs or tip-offs that we had gotten was that members in the community, which is a relatively remote community, had smelled an odor in the air emanating from that building, and that's seemingly what led them to be curious about what's going on there. But it seems like that remote farm areas and farmlands in South Africa are attractive destinations for the setup of these laboratories because it is not easy to detect it over there. Does that mean we need to change our intelligence strategy because it seems to be urban-focused, city-focused, rather than remote and rural-focused?
We need to change the strategy, Oliver. I can tell you of some incidents way back 2010, 2011, 2012, when I was still the chairperson of the police board, community police board in Gauteng. Meldesdrift was the center of human trafficking and exploitation of foreign nationals, and those foreign nationals were killing the farmers or the plot owners because of many other things that had to do with their payments and that kind of stuff. Until we deployed, that is the Provincial Commissioner Mzwandile Petros, deployed serious resources in that area, and they flushed out a sizable number of foreign nationals and crimes that were committed in that area. So I can tell you from an experience that we need to change the strategy of policing your rural areas. Remember, we did away with the commandos and established rural policing strategies. But when you look at the resources, gathering of intelligence, patrolling those areas with undrivable farm roads, you need to have a different kind of strategy with regards to stabilizing the rural areas as a hotspot for the hiding and generation of crime.
Yeah, Andy Mashaile, thank you so much for your insights this afternoon. I really do appreciate it. That is security specialist and strategist Andy Mashaile.